Welcome to Retro Coder. I'm Nate Boffman. My very first episode of the Retro Coder, I made a tutorial on how to read binary code. Actually, back then it was just called Retro Coder, but I happened to notice that there was two other Retro Coders on YouTube. So then I decided to rebrand to The Retro Coder, and now I'm the only one. Anyways, I decided to do a follow-up episode on Hex Notation. So let's go ahead and check it out. In binary code, each character has 8 numbers made up of 1s and 0s. Each 1 and 0 represents a bit, and 8 bits equals a byte. Binary is a base 2 system. Hex, on the other hand, is a base 16 system made up of numbers and some letters. 16 to be exact. Each number or letter represents 4 bits, so 1 byte is only 2 numbers or letters. Consequently, if you take 2 to the 4th power, you get 16. So it makes sense that one number or letter would be 4 times as many bits in hex when compared to binary. The numbers 0 to 9 are the same in hex as you can see on the chart. Then A represents 10, and so on and so forth, until F, which is 15, for a total of 16 numbers or letters. Let's go ahead and calculate a few examples. Starting from right to left, the first number or letter represents 16 to the 0 power, and the second one represents 16 to the 1st power. The first letter is F, so you take 16 to the 0 power, which is 1, and multiply it by 15, since F is equal to 15. 15 times 1 is 15. Now we go to the 3. You take 16 to the 1st power, and multiply it by 3, which is 48. Then you add those two numbers together. So 48 and 15 will give you 63. Let's go ahead and do another example, and then I'll show you how to convert numbers into hex. The next example is FA. So you take 16 to the 0 power and multiply it by 10, which that's A, and then take 16 to the 1st power, which is 16, and multiply it by 15, which is equal to 240. Then you add the two numbers together, 240 and 10, which gives you 250. By the way, each byte has 256 possibilities, 0 to 255. That means all 1s in binary equals 255, and in hex, FF equals 255. This will come in handy when it comes to referencing an ASCII chart in relation to hex. Let's go ahead and convert a number to hex notation. The first example we have is 63. The first thing to do is divide 63 by 16 and get the remainder. 63 divided by 16 is 3.9375. Subtract 3 and the remainder is 0.9375. Then multiply the remainder by 16 and we have our first number or letter starting from right to left. 16 times 0.9375 is 15, which in hex is F. Then we take 3, which is 63 divided by 16 minus the remainder, and divide that by 16. Since the answer is less than 1, it is the remainder, which is 0.875. We multiply that by 16 and you get 3. So the answer is 3F. Now that we converted both ways, let's demonstrate how a word is represented. The hex word is 44, 6F, and 67. Each set of 2 hex numbers represents an ASCII code that corresponds to a letter. So let's start with 44. Just simply look up 44 under the hex column on the ASCII table. In this case, and in every case, 44 hex is a capital D. Next we have 6F. Referencing the ASCII table, we get a lowercase o. And finally, let's check out 67. When we look at the ASCII table, we get a lowercase g. The hex word is dog with a capital D. And that will wrap up this tutorial. Until next time, thanks for watching. Sit, Phoebe, sit. Good cat.